Operation Shakti. On this date in 1998 at Pokhran, the government of India under A.B. Vajpayee conducted 5 nuclear explosions over 2 days, the second such after Operation Smiling Buddha in 1974. The date is observed as National Technology Day. Of the five detonations, the first was a fusion bomb while the rest were fission ones. Namaste, this is me Ratnakar taking you on another episode of History Under Your Feet today. India's nuclear program began in 1945 when Homi Bhabha established the TIF for harnessing nuclear energy. However, post the 1962 war and death of Bhabha, the program slowed down. The program again picked up under Indira Gandhi, which resulted in Operation Smiling Buddha in 1974 led by Dr. Raja Ramanna. However, the energy embargo after Smiling Buddha and lack of indigenous resources severely affected the program and slowed down the progress. It was under APJ Abdul Kalam that work began towards a hydrogen bomb as well as a missile program. And though P.V. Narasimha Rao decided to conduct the tests in 1995, he had to halt the program under enormous pressure from US. With Vajpayee's coming to power in 1998, wide-ranging consultation was held with Chidambaram, Kalam and other officers of the DAA regarding the test, and the go-ahead was given on March 28, 1998 when scientists were asked to make preparations in the shortest time. With Pokhran being a flat desert, it was not that easy to hide the preparations from spy satellites. The 58th Engineer Regiment under Gopal Kaushik had figured out how to avoid the satellite detection as they prepared the test sites. All scientists had to wear army uniforms to avoid suspicion, and work was done mostly during night. The equipment was returned to the original place to give an impression of never having been moved. Bomb shafts were dug under camouflage nets while the dugout sand was placed as dunes to make it look natural. Sensor cables were covered with sand and vegetation while scientists departed for various destinations under the pseudonyms and then transported to Pokhran by army technical staff to avoid detections. 3 DRDO labs were involved in designing, testing and producing components for the bomb, including the advanced detonation, implosion and high voltage trigger systems. The bombs were transported in 4 Indian Army trucks under Colonel Umang Kapoor on May 1, 1998 from Bark, airlifted to Jaisalmer in an AN-32 commanded by Squadron Leader Mahendra Prasad Yadav, and from Jaisalmer to Pokhran the bombs were again transported in another convoy in 3 trips to avoid detection, delivered to the assembly site codenamed as Prayer Hall. There were 3 shafts which are codenamed Taj Mahal, White House and Kumbhakaran, all of them L-shaped with a horizontal chapter for the test device. The team now had to wait for wind direction and also factor in the shaft seal failures that had often occurred during testing. On May 11th, after the desert winds died down, Dr. K. Santanam, in charge of the site, handed over 2 keys to Dr. M. Vasudev, range safety officer. At 3:45 p.m., all the devices were detonated. Shakti 2, a plutonium implosion design yielding 15 kilotons and intended as a warhead. Shakti 3, an experimental linear implosion design. The other 2 devices were detonated on May 13, 1998, Shakti 4 and Shakti 5. On May 13, 1998, Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee announced that at 3:45 p.m., India had conducted 3 underground nuclear tests in the Pokhran. The tests conducted were with a fission device, a low-yield device and a thermonuclear device. India became the 6th country to join the nuclear club. Predictably, most of the Western nations led by US along with Japan were outraged and imposed sanctions. The only countries that backed India were France and Russia. The tests were an embarrassing failure for American intelligence and one of the biggest fiascos ever for CIA. Even though US tried to bully India with sanctions and signing the CTBT, the government refused to yield under pressure and stood firm. And not surprisingly, China and Pakistan were the biggest critics of Pokhran 2, with China calling upon the international community to pressurize India into signing the NPT. As we celebrate the brilliance of our scientists and engineers today on National Technology Day, do share and like this particular video, subscribe to the channel and do share your thoughts in the comment section. This is me, Ratnakar, signing off on another episode of History Under Your Feet.